we optimize the system kasi you have to consider a lot of things eh. Let's say ratio no the ratio of the agri waste to maybe the manure kasi if it's co-digestion you need to have a source of ano microorganisms, right? So yun, in-optimize namin yung correct proportion, pH, ano ba yung mga in-explore doon? Addition of certain materials to enhance growth of microorganisms. Yung mga ganon. Kapag optimization, normally, we use smaller reactors. No? Mga pet bottles, mga gallons lang or liter size lang ng pet bottles. But there are no studies, thesis na they need to fabricate. No? Parang batch type. Problem with that, yun nga, if you want to optimize, you'll be needing so much feedstock. Kasi ano siya eh, bigger, no? Bigger kasi you have to put some parang monitoring equipment, let's say temperature sensors, maybe mixer, yung mga ganon. But that's possible. Yeah. What do you mean? So you need ano parang you're asking if there's an available digester in TUP ba parang ganun?
Yes po, sir. Kung may available.
I think meron pero yun nga so once the students have already finished their thesis, I'm not sure where they I don't know put the machine, no, the equipment. Kasi sa normally yung mga ganong fabrication that's ano eh thesis in the mechanical engineering eh kasi ako I'm a chemical engineer. So ano sa akin eh I'm more interested in the process. So we use small reactors. It's easy to dispose. But for mechanical undergrad, I'm not sure where they store the machine, the equipment. Baka nga chinap-chop na nila. They sold the parts. No? I'm not particularly sure. So I'm not sure if there is currently if there is a working digester in Taguig. I'm not sure. No. But I'm sure there's a pyrolyzer in Taguig kasi ako yung advisor eh. So there are still other groups doing pyrolysis in Taguig. No? So yun yung ano. Currently, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's an existing working biogas digester. Pero ikaw, pwede mo rin siyang gawin, no? Actually, um, maraming designs eh. Even the UST has a manual, no? Has a sort of catalog for the design and fabrication of portable digesters. So just maybe you can scale it down para yung feedstock materials mo would be sufficient for, let's say, if you want to do optimization. No? So yun. Oo. Pero yun, I'm not sure if there's a working unit right now.
Okay, sir. Thank you po.
Yun ba ang gusto mo? Okay. Biogas ba ang gusto mo? Okay.
Ay, hindi po, sir. Ano lang.
So,
Tanong lang po.
pero yun. Kung ano, if you want to do thesis on biogas, it's better if you have your own reactor. No? So design a small one. Design and fabricate a small one para it's cheaper, no? And it's easier to fabricate. Ayan. So, okay, let's go back. No, biogas production. Ayan. So if you, let's say, opt to do your energy estimation with biogas as your energy source, ayan, you need to find this kind of information again, no? Reference materials. So let's say if your region produce a lot of potatoes or corn, no? Or what else? Uh, Grass, hindi naman eh, no? Well, if you opt to uh, produce biogas from grass, no? Kasi we're an agricultural country. you need to have this information. Yeah. So in here you can see the data on harvest, no? So that means how much crop can you produce per hectare, no? Let's say for example potato, you can produce 26 tons of potato per hectare per year, no? And then if you will use potato for biogas production, um and and you will only use potato waste, you have to have data on the amount of waste produced when you process potatoes. So may mga ganon. There are literatures providing that kind of information. So let's say for every 1 ton of, or for every, yeah, for every 1 kilogram or every 1 ton of potato or processed potato, it can produce, let's say, 5% potato waste. Sometimes they report it in ton per ton. No, like for example, it can produce about zero point 0.1 ton per ton of potato waste from potato processing. May mga ganong information. So you need those to properly estimate, no? So once you have that information, how about the conversion? Ayan, methane yield. You need to also have this data. No, so for every ton of potato, let's say potato feedstock waste, it can generate this much amount, no, in normal cubic meter of methane. Ayan. So here in this example or in this reference, you can produce 100 normal cubic meters of uh, methane, no, per ton of potato. Nakita niyo ba? Can you see the table, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. So now you have that methane yield. So per ton of feedstock, you have 100 uh, cubic meters of methane. You need another data on how much energy is produced, no, for every cubic meter of methane. So you have to have information naman ng conversion technology. Let's say the engine or the engine specification, its efficiency, etc. So you need those information. Okay? So you need to do a lot of research in order for you to accurately estimate the energy potential. Okay, you need this kind of information, and don't forget to properly cite, no, proper citation of your references, no, before you do some assumptions. Hindi pwedeng hula-hula lang na ito basta ito yung amount to. So you have to reference them properly. Okay? So in this example, yeah, it's sourced from SGC. I forgot the SGC, but it's a Sweden data way back in 2006. So kayo, and you can use updated information kasi there's been a lot of research done na since 2006 about this. No? So maybe you have more recent or more updated information and more efficient conversion technology that you can use, no, as your reference or basis. Okay? Kasi ito luma na to. They're only confined to that technology of that year, right? Of that generation. So baka ngayon, the conversion technologies are more efficient, so therefore you can get more product, 'di ba? More methane or higher conversion efficiency. So that means you have higher energy yield. So you'll get higher estimates, right? So yun yung information na kailangan yung makuha. Okay, so what else is given in here? Oh, land requirement. So for ano na to, gigawatt hour. So that's for energy production in terms of land information or units. And what else? Substrate needed. Ayan. So in order for you to produce 1 gigawatt hour, you need to have at least 1 1,000 tons, no, of potato. So it's up to you how will you be utilizing this information to properly and accurately estimate the energy potential, no, from biomass. Okay, so you need to do further research. Okay, and right now I think they're producing ano din eh. I think you can find books, no, about um, energy crops, or find books with indexing on the energy potential, no, and other information such as this. Yeah. So from different manure and agri waste, paano, no? Anong information? Okay. Just further information about biogas, no, generation. Um, there's a certain optimum temperature for you to produce biogas. No, let's say for this example, it's from pig manure or swine manure. No, so they have identified that 35 degrees is the best. And what other process parameters or information that you need to know in order for you to get the optimum results? No, in this example, we have the effect ng influent concentration. So that's VS is volatile solids. No? So influent concentration is the amount of volatile solids per liter of your feedstock. So here it says that if you use about 50 grams of volatile solids per liter of your mother liquor or feedstock, you get the highest results, no? And what's this? Detention time. Methane. I forgot the detention time here. Maybe it's just the residence time. No. You can get the highest yield when you use an 8 day uh, digestion time using 50 gram, yeah, of volatile solids per liter. Okay, so this information you need that to in order for you to optimize your biogas processes. Okay, so ito yung mga inaaral natin, no. So this is what we do when we do research, no, and almost any, I think, no, not just biogas, no, especially if you're doing optimized process or optimization. Okay, so again, this is just for piggery. So different um different ways, different performance, right? Okay, so at 35 degrees, maximum liters of methane you can get from 8 day retention time at 50 gram volatile solids per liter. So you get as much as around 1.7 methane. Anong unit nito? Liters of methane. Liters of methane per day. Okay. Okay. So this is what I was discussing a while ago, no? That for every ton of processed waste, you get certain amount or certain tons of waste, no? So here in this example, ayan, no? Let's say rice, no? So ratio of waste production, that's probably production per ton of waste. I think, no? Kasi supposed to be dapat ano ba? Mas malaki, mas maliit, greater than 1. For rice, for example, ratio of waste production per ton. Tan ba to? 1.4. Oh, yeah. I think 1.4. Parang hindi siya pwede dapat lumaki, no? Ratio of waste production, 1.4 ton per ton. Ratio of waste production. I don't know what are the other ways. Kasi for rice, for example, if you produce rice, no, you only get the grain, right? The rest are waste. No, rice hull, rice husk. So it's much more heavier, no, compared to the desired product, no, for food. No, that's probably the reason why it's 1.4.4. So probably it's the ratio between the final product and the waste. No, so that means you get 40% more waste compared to the product. For wheat, same thing. For corn, almost 1:1. Kasi the grains of corn are large also, no? For roots and tubers, you get very few waste. No? So, because roots and tuber, you only have the skin, right? And majority of the roots and tubers, yung mga, ano ba mga roots and tubers? Gabi, no? Gabi, ano pa? Potatoes, right? Sweet potatoes, gabi, cassava, yung mga ganon. Um, the only waste there is the skin. And what's inside are already food, no? So that's why the ratio is less. So point 0.4 waste over the per ton of the actual final product. Okay? So yan, if you will be using agri waste, you need to have this data, no, for you to properly estimate the total waste production for a particular region or area that you select, no? For manure, same thing. Cattle, for example, ayan, every cattle generates 1.1 ton of waste. Gabi, no? Gabi sila dumumi. Per year, per cattle. So that means you have to have values or a number of cattle that, you know, you will be, ang tawag doon, uh, not farming eh. How do you take care of the cat? What's the proper term? Racing, yan. So you should know how many cattle are being raised in the livestock farm, no? For you to properly estimate the amount of waste produced, no? Cattle waste or cattle manure produced per year. Okay? So same with other livestock, no? Swine, poultry, horses, etc. Okay? So you need to have this data. So this is, ayan, yung handbook na sinasabi ko. You can actually download biomass handbook to get some references, no, or information that you will use for your assumption. Okay? Yan. Let's go to sugarcane. Saglit lang. Inom lang ako. Ayan, balik tayo. So sugarcane, very common in the Philippines, no? Okay, very high productivity. We also we already saw that previously, no, in the table, that you can produce a lot of sugarcane extract, no, for every hectare of sugarcane uh, farm, no. So very high productivity per acre. This is US kasi, US units. So you extract a lot of juice, but you also produce a lot of waste, no, in the form of bagasse. But you can use that waste as a co-firing fuel for boilers, no, which in turn you use for boiling the extract to produce sugar, no. So very very efficient yung sugarcane. Ayan, so this is the a bagasse ano to, parang depot, no, something like that, where you can use the bagasse for as a fuel, a solid fuel for uh, boilers, no, solid fuel boilers in the co-firing process. This is in Hawaii. Ayan, in Hilo, Hawaii. Kasi tropical ng Hawaii, right? Okay. And in some studies, cellulosic materials are used to produce alcohol naman, no? So, cellulose materials, but highly cellulosic materials can be used to produce ethanol, no, through fermentation. Yan. So, ano-ano pa? You can also produce methane through the composition of sewage sludge, no, using digesters. Okay? So ito in this picture I think yun nga ano to digester ang method, no. So anaerobic digestion using sewage sludge. Sewage sludge, take note, in Tagalog or in Filipino we call it burak. 'Di ba? If you unfortunately happen to fall in a canal, 'di ba? In the Philippines, 'di ba? It's so black and there's this like mud, no? Or which we call burak, okay? But in technical terms, we call them sludge, no? Ayan. So you can use that. It's highly organic. 'Di ba? May mga dumi na kung saan-saan yang galing sa mga bahay, ihi ng hayop, no? Dumi ng hayop na pupunta sa kanal, no? And from the houses, obviously, kitchen waste, laundry, etc. So it's highly organic. Um, you can use them as feedstock for fermentation or for anaerobic digestion. Okay, so ayan, mga certain technologies. Okay, what else? Ayan, there's this before, no, there's this um, sort of issue about food versus fuel. Ayan. So because before our source of fuel is actually obtained from food feedstock then from food crops from food sources. So they're complaining now, why do you use our food for fuel? No, yeah. For example, ito. And it's expensive. No, ethanol from corn. No, you can produce 1.74 cents per gallon. Very much expensive, no? Compared to a 95 cents per gallon of petroleum-based fuel, no? Bakit, no? So obviously, if you're a business person, no, if you're a manufacturer, if you're an industry, you wouldn't be selling ethanol, no? Kasi it's much more, no one will buy if you have these competitions which sells less than or almost two times less, no, than the price. That's why need the government needs to uh, craft policies and implement policies supporting renewables. Okay, so yung implementation kailangan talaga. The policy are very much needed so that manufacturers can promote, no, the production of renewable fuels. Okay, here in the Philippines, ano ba to? Philippines, 1970 data, this is quite old, no? We can produce, ano to, energy. Forgot to the unit. But, sige, let's just compare, no? Uh, uh, Corn versus rice. no? You can see here that corn and rice produce uh, is very much similar, no? Way back in 1945. So 1945 data versus of corn in the US versus 1970 data of rice produced in the Philippines is very much comparable. However, due to the technologies being developed and utilized, they are able to produce a much higher yield, no, in the 1970s. Ano to? Almost triple ba to? 1.7 triple. Yeah, no? Almost more than triple, no? Almost more than three times production, no? Or yield, no? Way back in the 1970s compared to their production in the 1940s. No? After 3 decades of farm technology development, they're able to produce three times more than of corn yield. Yan. So in the Philippines ba, ewan ko, we don't have that much data. But that's an interesting, I don't know, thing to know, no? So that's why, yun nga, when you do your estimate, it's really important for you to use recent literature. No? So you have to do further research in order for you to get updated, no, information for your estimates. Okay, kasi new technologies are being introduced, more efficient, no, more environment friendly, etc. Okay, so use as much as possible recent references. Okay, ano to? Ayan. So, 70% more energy to make methanol from US corn than energy in ethanol. Ayan. Ayan. So, it's energy extensive. That's the reason why the price, no, is more expensive compared to gasoline because the energy needed to make the product is very high. Okay? Same question kanina, di ba? So, yung sa pyrolysis process. But, again, if you source your energy from renewable sources, then you maybe can offset the price, no? And become more competitive. Okay? So, to also improve or offset the price, some companies introduce additives. Ayan. So, they introduce new additives, no, or the product is only used as an additive. Let's say, for example, ethanol, no, you only add certain amount of ethanol in the fuel, in gasoline, for example, so as not to increase the price that much, no. So in the Philippines, for example, it's only 10% ethanol. That's why you can see E10 symbol in some gasoline dispensers in the Philippines, no, in gasoline stations around Philippines. Okay, so we use ethanol as an additive to improve octane rating. So to boost the octane rating and replace lead. Kaya ngayon, when you buy a regular gasoline, you say unleaded, no, no, o premium unleaded ganun. Because before lead was used to improve the combustion or yung knocking or anti-knocking properties of gasoline fuel. Okay, but lead, as we know, is toxic. It's neurotoxic. No? Nakakabobo, in short. So, back then, they replaced lead, no, with other additives to make it more health and environment friendly. Yan, na-introduce yun si ethanol and other additives. MTBE, yan. It's methyl tert butyl ether. It's again also, I think, sourced from petroleum um, feedstocks. No? So, petroleum-based pa rin siya. So, can also be replaced by ethanol. No? Okay, so it's just to ayan, illustrate yung ano no contribution in bread loaf. Okay. Energy goes almost 50% of energy in making bread loaf is actually from the cultivation nung ano mo crop no from grain production. Then 20% from baking, yan. You transport, you mill, yan, you shop and you package your food, no? And yun nga, kino-contest yan. So, uh, all of these will go to fuel, not for bread, no? Production. So, yun yung issue before, no? Ayan. So, let's go to energy crops. Ano mas na ba? Ano? Let's go to energy crops. Before we were discussing about um, producing energy from agri waste, no, from biomass waste. But there are what you call energy crops. So these crops are cultivated solely for energy production. Kasi yung mga biomass waste, yung mga agri-waste, those are actually waste derived from food production or for food crop cultivation. So when you process these food crops, you generate a lot of waste. Now, you can exclusively farm no or cultivate crops for energy production only, no, not for food. Ayan. So ngayon, we will be discussing some examples of energy crops or, well, of course, non-edible crops that you can use for production, no, energy production. So one example is hemp plants. Sa Philippines, abaka yan eh, no? Hemp, Manila hemp. So, ano meron sa hemp plants? Advantages for hemp plants, they produce 4 times as much pulp per acre as wood. And you don't need pesticides. Yeah. So I'm not sure if in the Philippines we have these energy crops. But most of our crop farms, no, plantations, are still related to food. No? We just generate a lot. No? So that's why we can proportion a part of that for energy
Nasa
production.
klase pa ako.
So you can use hemp plants to make cloth,
Maya na lang.
rope, yan, Manila hemp, and you do not need
Tuesday. Sige,
fertilizers.
Tuesday. Kita tayo sa Tuesday, ha?
Meron tayo, pag ganyan, we
Ha?
have the abaka, no?
Ako dadaan sa school.
Eh,
Dadaan sa school.
but we mostly use abaka fibers for
Sige,
rope
sige. Okay, thank
production
you.
and for fabric, no, textiles. Sino ba dito taga ano? Taga Bicol area. Ayan. What else? Eucalyptus is an energy crop. No? So, eucalyptus produce higher amounts of biomass under drier conditions. So, even with less water, eucalyptus can survive. Maganda rin yan sa Philippines. Ano? Produce higher amounts of biomass under drier conditions than hemp. I'm interested ngayon. Kasi I'm handling thesis advice. I mentioned ko na to, I think, no? Doing torrefaction, no? Solid biofuels, briquettes, no? But torrefied briquettes to improve the calorific or heating value. But our crops na under study are ano parang similar to Manila to hemp, no? Actually ano, bamboo. So we're studying bamboo, but eucalyptus is interesting din ano. Under drier conditions. So for example, ano no, La Nina, no? Sorry, El Nino pala. They can maybe survive better than better than I guess bamboo. Oh. Anyway, Sige, sige, interesting. Very hardy species. They can thrive. They can survive. Even their leaves are very strong. No, eucalyptus, and I think they're also invasive. Check, no. So invasive meaning they kill other plants that not like them. No. So they're invasive. So kapag magre-reforest ka, make sure that the plants that you use are not invasive, no? Ayan, sige. Okay, let's check. What information uh, do you need to know, when it comes to energy crops? Okay, so this is under dry weight basis. So heat content for various biomass fuels, under dry weight basis versus data obtained. Energy sa US. Ayan. Again, when you do your estimate, you need to have information such as this. No, kailangan meron kayong proper referencing. No? This is the heating value, no, per unit mass, per unit ton. English and metric. No? So here you can see agricultural residue, meron silang heating value, HHB, higher heating value. But this is under dry weight. So that means less moisture. Yeah, but you obtain under high heating value, dry weight. Yeah, less moisture. Pag sinabi mo dry weight, ilang percent moisture na lang maiwan dun. Kasi if you the wood itself, actually that's one of our problems, when we did pyrolysis of biomass. We found out that if your process pyrolysis temperature is very low, you will be producing so much water even if the moisture content of your biomass is already low, no? So that means uh, pyrolysis temperature is really a factor in producing high quality pyrolysis oil products. So we found that out, no? Imagine, we pyrolyze, ano yung ginamit namin nun? Pyrolyze. We pyrolyze coconut. Coconut ba? Wait, I don't remember. Basta, we pyrolyze biomass, but through microwave process. And we only reach around, basta even less than pyrolysis, temperature eh. So we only reach less than 500. Siguro baka mga 200, 300 lang. But of course, that's through microwave. You can still heat the biomass, no, sufficiently in order for you to produce the oil. Unfortunately, the oil that was produced, since yun nga, the temperature is very low, majority of the oil produced contains or is water. No, surprisingly, it's water. No, so that means that the decomposition process, uh, uh, parang uh, parang the temperature is not enough to decompose the biomass to produce the desired oil that you need. Instead, it produce moisture. No, it produce water for some reason. No, that's ano nga, what we found out. Maybe we can do further research. Pero yun nga, temperature is very important in the pyrolysis process. Yun yung ano doon, no? Ano doon, lessons if you do pyrolysis. Okay? The feedstock was less than 10%, no? Moisture. But after the pyrolysis, it's around 80-90%. So nagtaka kami, saan galing yung tubig? So probably it's from the cellulosic structure of the wood. So if the temperature is very low, you're in fact decomposing the wood into water. Parang ganun. Very high moisture content tuloy. So, pangit yung yield, no? Baba. Kasi tubig lang eh. Okay, so ganun pala yun, no? That's why, ayan, meron mga dry weight basis, may mga LHB, no? Yung lower heating value, tsaka HHB because it accounts water. Water is parang sort of intrinsic, no? To your biomass. Okay, kaya kapag mali yung process conditions, you won't be able to utilize your energy crop properly. It won't be as efficient. Okay. So, yun yung mga natutunan namin before. No? So, in this table, you have information on agricultural residues, their heating values. No? Herbaceous crops, or herbaceous crops such as bamboo, switchgrass, woody crops. So, these are your energy crops, eucalyptus, hybrid poplar, willow trees. Forest residues, you have hardwood and softwood. And then urban residues, you have the municipal solid waste, the refuse-derived fuel, newspapers, corrugated paper, wax cartons, etc. No? We're interested to see the heating value of the energy crops. No? Yung woody crops dito nasa gitna. Okay? So, wala tayong comparison sa ano, no? We can compare it with coal. Sana. Okay, so for woody crops, if you can see, it's higher in general compared to other crops, no? Around nasa ano siya, no? 8 or 16 uh, mega BTU, or no, not mega, million BTU. No, that's mega also naman. Uh, Mega BTU per ton. So 16 for energy crops, for woody crops, compared to mga wheat straws and shells, no? So only around 13. But again, biomass, they're very, very similar. Okay? Kasi they're cellulosic in nature. Lignocellulosic, hemicellulosic. So in on average, they're quite similar. No? So ranges from 14 to 16 um, million BTU per ton. No? So, ayun yung in metric ito. In metric, that's around ano yan? Ganun din eh, 16 kilojoules, no? 16 kilojoules per kilogram. Okay, for LHB. Okay, and then for HHB, nasa around 18 to 19. Um, 18 to 19, yeah, kilojoules per kilogram. Okay, so very, very similar with each other, no? Okay. Yan. Plastics made from pyrolysis oil. Ayan. This is what we're doing before, but for now, I think we have to stop kasi challenging siya talaga. Um, we will see. We'll still find a way how to improve the process, but right now it's quite challenging. Maybe we have to improve the design and fabricate a new one, which will not give us so much problems. Mga leak, mga clogging, yan. Ang problema. Uh, so we have to pause our research on pyrolysis for now, I guess. Even the microwave. But yun nga, there's a lot of products that you can produce through pyrolysis, no? In this example, yung pyrolysis oil yan, nasa gitna, was used to produce plastics. Yan, yung plastics na as a housing for these products, yan. Yung camera na yan, and I don't know what's the other one, maybe radio, are produced from oil of pyrolyzed wood. No? So, ginamit siya to make plastic materials. But of course, you can use also pyrolysis oil to produce fuel grade products, no, such as gasoline type or diesel type or kerosene or jet fuel, no, or heavy fuel oil types of products. Pwede. Okay. So, kaya lang so far the design that we have, the machine that we have is quite challenging. No? It gave us uh, quite a few problems. No? Even the microwave assisted. No? Okay. What else? Wet biomass. Sino pa ba to? Ayan. For wet biomass, ito naman yung cultivated under, of course, wet conditions. Example, algae, water hyacinth. No, in this example, it's algae. You have a big algae plantation. I don't know where this is. Maybe in the US. Okay. So it's what you call wet biomass. So it stays moist or it's always in water. Okay. Examples are water plants, water hyacinths, water lily. No, animal waste, manure can be wet biomass. Obviously, oil, biodiesel oil, plant oils. Okay. And of course algae. No? So this is treated with hydrogasification at high pressure. No? So you gasify, no, at high pressure and low temperature to produce gas or biofuel oil. Okay, so either you produce gas or you to extract the oil from them. That oil will be processed to produce other products, no, particularly biodiesel, no. Tapos what else? The biomass, there's of course there's still solid part of this that you can also use for solid biofuel application. So marami rin pwedeng gawin, no? Or you can use them as feedstock for anaerobic digestion, yun yung methane production or biogas production. So there's so many approaches. Okay? So this example, water hyacinth, so we have the water hyacinth farms or hydro farms. Okay, so these are some of the advantages. You can use the water hyacinth farms to treat wastewater. Pwede yun, no? So to treat wastewater, you use water hyacinth. No? Ang tawag natin doon ay phytoremediation. No? So nililinis yung tubig through use of these plants. And then once you have that, no, similar to sa Laguna Lake, diba? There's so many water hyacinth. Pwede mong i-harvest yun. So you harvest them. In fact, in the Philippines, there's so many uses of water hyacinth. We use them for making bags na, di ba? For bioplastics, we briquette them, yung water hyacinth. We also use them for biogas production. There are some studies about that. No? So, maraming applications. Ayan. This is an example of a hydro farm in Orlando wetland. Ayan. Kaso kulay pula sila, no? Another example, pictures. So, so again, this is used to extract nutrients, so for ano ito, wastewater treatment. Ayan. Ito, comparison. Let's check. This is, we have different water plants, no? And some woody, no? Yan. So we have a marine plant, no? Yung giant kelp. We have the freshwater, which is water hyacinth. We have the grass. We have the energy crop na woody, hybrid poplar. And we have the RDF or refuse derived fuel. That's from urban waste. Okay, what's no, thing here, property that you should need to know? Uh, one thing that you should uh, check is the lignin. Ayan. So if the lignin contain, if the biomass contains very high lignin, it's actually not suitable for fermentation. Okay, so for fermentation, particularly for alcohol production. Okay. So if it has a very high lignin content, because the microorganisms are actually not designed to convert lignin. For fermentation process, ang typical na fine-ferment or kino-convert ng mga microorganisms, no, is cellulose and sometimes hemicellulose. So depende sa crop talaga. It depends on the crop on what technology is suitable for that crop. So for example, here we have woody having the highest lignin. You cannot use that as feedstock for um, ethanol production, no, or ethanol fermentation. Okay? So hindi siya magandang gamitin for that. Okay, you what you what's suitable for ethanol production or fermentation are those that contain high cellulosic materials, no? In this example, ang Bermuda, ayan, grass has the highest. Okay, it's very good feedstock material if you want to convert it to ethanol. Although woody hybrid popular also has high cellulose, though 41%, but it won't be as efficient in the fermentation process when compared to Bermuda grass. Okay, so yun yung concept na yun. Okay? Another thing that you should also consider is ayan, so it's critical for ethanol production. That's what I'm saying here. Another that you should also consider ay yung ash. Ayan. If you contain high ash value, it's not suitable for ano naman kaya? What do you think? Ash means you cannot burn it, right? It's already ash. If it contains uncombustible material, it's not suitable for combustion, no? Solid biofuel combustion. So therefore, you cannot use a giant kelp and maybe water hyacinth as a feedstock material for biomass boilers for co-firing. Not suitable because it contains a lot of ash, and ash lowers the efficiency of boilers, right? We know that it will form a scale, yeah? Magkakaroon ng scaling yan, and then the heat exchange will be inefficient. Okay, so what is good as a feedstock material? Ayan, yung we call energy crop, no? Yung woody hybrid poplar because it has a very low ash contents. Good for boiler technology applications. Okay, so ganun pa din, no? You have to analyze, you have to check the characteristics of your feedstock materials in order for you to identify the appropriate technology to use for energy production. Okay, so depends on the characteristics. So these are the things that you need to know. So pag mag-a-assume ka, ito gagamitin ko for this kind of technology, just make sure you have a basis, no? Because this is really suitable because it has this kind of qualities or characteristics. It has to be supported also by literature. Okay? So yun yung mga essentials ng biomass estimation, biomass energy estimation. Okay, ano pa yun nandito? Ayan, yung ash, no? So this is the same as this one. You can actually obtain from Asian Biomass Handbook. Ayan, ash. Ayan. Okay, so that's why manure is not suitable for boiler applications. Yung manure, taas ng ash content, 23%. You can use manure for biogas production, no? For anaerobic digestion. So, yung mga suitable conversion technologies. Okay, so woody plant, yun nga, eucalyptus, Very popular, sycamore. They're good feedstocks for boilers. What else? Organic matter. Yung aquatic plants, you can use them for anaerobic, no? Anaerobic digestion. You can use them for anaerobic digestion. Okay. Or if it has high cellulosic content, you can use them for ethanol fermentation. So it depends. Okay? So ayan, may coal pala, no? So tingnan nyo yung coal. Heating value of coal is 28%. Sorry, megajoules per ton by dry weight. 28 ang coal. Compared to woody, the highest is only about 21. Okay. So, ano, still, nothing beats coal, but coal is dirty. It has sulfur, and it's a fossil fuel. Okay? So, yun yung, ano natin, problem associated with coal. So, that's why we need to find alternatives. Okay? So, high ash content. So, not suitable for boiler applications. Ayan. So, dito na tayo. Biomass energy potential na tayo. I think I will continue this next meeting. Hopefully, I can finish this. Pero, yun nga, I will just announce later if we can meet pa on 19 and 20. But as initially informed you, I might not be around on on 19 and 20. Okay, I'll just announce if I can still meet you early in the morning. Saglit lang. But I will not be around, no? Later in the later in the day. Okay. I will continue. Ito na tayo. Ito na yung estimation. I will provide some examples and different approaches. Actually, this is very similar doon sa study yung activity na binigay ko sa inyo last time, no? I will just give some examples, statistical examples, not the GIS examples, not the remote sensing examples. But we will cover that in theory. But the examples, the calculation or estimations I will discuss here are actually statistical approach. Ano? Okay? So, stop na tayo dito. I'll continue this next meeting. But of course, you can already start doing your estimations. I've already provided you with some basics. So you can start working on your final paper or final project. Okay. And then if you have questions, don't hesitate to post them in our message box. Okay? Sige, may question ba? Clarification before we end? Everything clear? Siguro yung exam natin, pagkatapos ko to, if I finish my lecture on biomass, we will have an exam. So maybe two meetings from now, we will probably have an exam on biomass energy. Okay? Sige. No questions? Clarifications? Wala. Okay, if there are no more questions, I'll see you next meeting. Yeah, just wait for further announcements. Ano? If we can still meet on the 19th. Okay, pero yun nga, meron akong ano dyan, gagawin sa 19th. Okay? Sige. So, no
Sige
more
po,
questions.
sir.
I'll end our meeting for today. Okay.
Thank you po, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.